Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 6. Just do the usual checks and put some music on. I've tried to turn it down a wee bit. We'll see how it goes. It's got this peaking thing that happens. Looks like it's all right. Just pause there. We've got a couple of people on already. I'll just put my welcome message here. Just another cruisy UFO whatever chat. Hopefully it all goes all right. I've been having dropouts with the network. Tonight I'll probably be talking about some of the viral stuff that's been going around. And I look at Ley Lines to do with SkinWalker Ranch as well. And stuff I found out. And some other news topics, I guess. And see where we go, I guess. I've got some tabs anyway. So just kill the music. So who's out there? Say hello down the side. So first thing that's been talked about is this one here. Let's see if I've got the right one. Sabotage aboard the International Space Station. More evidence of drilling has been found in the docked Soyuz spacecraft, Russian claims. So there you go. Could that be a real Russian spy amongst the ranks there? Wouldn't be too hard to find someone with electric drill, surely. Yeah, so that wouldn't be really good if they're losing oxygen. I suppose they have to transport it up there, wouldn't they? Because they haven't sort of got a living farm like those old sci-fis have. Some of the good sci-fis used to watch. But they used to have spinning around with farms growing inside them. What might happen one day, I guess. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Although I did trip over a rock over the puck and twisted my back again. So I'll probably suffer the pain later on. Walking the dog at night time's risky business because you can't see where you're going. Yeah, I'm in New Zealand, if you saw the map, Christchurch, and I do regular lives each week, catch up with the UFO stuff. Although my channel wasn't entirely about UFOs, that's why it's called the Out There channel. It's about weirdness around the world, and also fake news and stuff that comes out. So yeah, so looks like they found another hole. New traces of drilling have been found on the spacecraft dock. So maybe it's not the space station, is it? It's the actual spacecraft. Maybe they want it to blow up as it returns back down. Sounds like a good mystery. It'd be turned into a movie sometime or a documentary or something. Whodunit investigation. And there you go, a couple of millimeter hole there. So, although you can't really trust UK rag magazines, it does look like it's a real picture there. Whoop, don't want that. Although I think I got it muted, I better check. Yeah, I have. So it won't play sound from the browser. Yeah, that's good, Rob. Thanks for liking my channel. It helps to watch the stuff, of course, because I need to get my minutes up if I'm going to get some ads back. Google have really crippled me for a year. I was just starting to get together when they took away the money. And I was going to use the money, of course, to upgrade my gear so I can keep improving what I'm doing here. So, yeah. The idea is to get the truth out, really, and expose the lies and fraud out there. Someone needs to do it, so it has to be me, even if it kills subs, because people don't like attacking other channels. But it's like the Alex Jones thing, they shouldn't have really cancelled his channel. What they should have done is just put counter claims against all the things he said. So on his YouTube page, they should really set up a section saying verified truth links, and you click on it and see the alternative version to the conspiracy or whatever. I think that's how they should do it. At least put a warning message, But I'm going to talk more about that, the bad side effects in a minute, about why telling fibs is really bad. What's this one? My uncle worked at Area 51 late 80s through 90s. If you're interested, here's some cool stuff. Yeah, we could arrange for you to come on and chat, but because I'm using the new system, I'm not using Hangouts. Have you got Hangouts? We can arrange it maybe tomorrow or next day. And we probably even have Robert from UK joining us again, because his best friends have left. So I'm always interested to hear stories that have some sort of proof, especially if you've got any proof. But I did tell Earl from MUFON's story, as you probably already watched it, about the underground base, and I've just recently heard about Dad's adventures in an underground base in Germany. So, yeah, military people or people in high top security, they stick to their oaths and they won't tell you until they die, and that's what happens. But they won't tell you everything either, your snippets. Yeah. people should be free to say whatever they want, but if it's incorrect, if they can prove it with facts, like they should really have a link to another video or whatever, saying let a UFO to be a verified balloon or a hoax, then there really should be a link to that video if they don't change the title and stuff. Because how many times have you come across a video that has been solved and they haven't done an update and they haven't updated the title to say solved or debunked and put the reason in the description? Because they know if they do that, people won't click on that link to watch it because they know it's sort of been resolved. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I don't think anyone should be censored, that's for sure. And free speech is, we should have a higher ideal to hold up to that standard for everybody. Even if it's hate speech, you can choose not to listen to it, can't you? So, but I guess it's the majority rules, and really, I don't know if it's someone trying to tell someone to go and cause harm to someone. That's true hate speech. But nowadays they're saying when you're criticizing someone, bullying, they class that as hate speech. But calling someone a moron is not hate speech. It's just your opinion. It's when you're trying to say this guy is a pedo or whatever, and then give out his street address, and then they burn down his house, and it turns out that he wasn't, which has happened quite a few times in America. And also, I think one of the big channels, one of the big companies got sued. Was it Twitter or Facebook? They got sued because they allowed some false information about someone to get out there where his house got burnt down, someone else's house got burnt down. Although I did try to find that article, because remember that everyone was attacking Stan Romanek before his trial had been finished. And I disagreed with what people were saying about him and suggesting, and if someone was threatened to make a fool of himself on camera, which he did do with the rubber pencil or whatever it was, or face more stuff being released about kids or something, which is false, and or threatening his life, I can see why someone might finally be, broken down, finally given. So, yeah. But it turned out the court, because he admitted that he found stuff on his computer, I think they couldn't release that other charge of his, but they released one of the serious charges that he was actually aiding and abetting by sharing the photos, which he obviously hadn't. They had no evidence for it. So, so he'll do his year in community service or whatever it is, and have to do counselling. And then his life will carry on from where it left off, but obviously he'll have that stigma for life. So whether he's innocent or actually bad man, we don't really know. I guess we'll never know unless some kid comes out later, like they have done with the priests, Catholic priests recently, where he says, "Oh yeah, he did this to me." So that's real proof. Then if you get several kids saying the same thing, then you got good proof there. See. So yeah. So what did they say down here? But Stan Romanek seems to be a prickly one. Everyone sort of gets uptight about him. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And his wife stands by his side and his family. So, family normally know. And they normally spill the beans or don't dump them or divorce. They normally divorce them, don't they? So, but they seem to be quite happily married still. So they used to say here on the early reports of the space station hull, going back to this one, that they thought it might have been one of those teeny meteorites. But I think you can tell the difference between a drilled hole and a meteorite because you can see how even the sides are here. You know, if it was a burst inwards, you'd expect it to be like jagged triangle bits at the edges as it's been, but you can see that it's been drilled and there's no material pushed outwards. But anyway, it seems that they may have know who the guy is now, but they're not telling. So maybe we'll find out when they get back to Earth, maybe. So it says here was initially by a small meteorite. Asteroids use tape to seal it. You know, that's duct tape always comes in handy. So, there was a fairly good movie on last year, wasn't it? Called Life, I think it was called. And they're experimenting with a microbe from some rocks on Mars, and it grew into a beast, a nightmare jellyfish or some sort. But it wasn't too bad of a movie. Yeah, he said he hoaxed it because he had death threats. But he's the kind of guy that would sort of play the clown on camera, you know, some days. Not take things too seriously. You know, I probably would do the same. You know, it's fair enough. But, you know, the thing is that people didn't believe for his UFO photos, or at least alien pictures anyway, and the alien peering in the window. Sure enough, as I always said, any video or photo can be faked. If you want to spend enough time and money at it, you can fake anything. So, yes, whether he's telling the truth or not, I don't know. My question is, what's so special about him to be abducted and to breed with? Because he doesn't look anything fantastic, you know what I mean? He's not like the number one sportsman, buffed. And so, yeah, aliens abduct him to make his children, star children. Seems a bit far-fetched, doesn't it? But never know. There might be a particular reason in the genes or DNA. I don't know. We're still learning all that stuff. So, where did they say down here? I think they said somewhere down here. But they think they know who it is. I probably can't see it now. Russian media even speculated that the US astronaut might have sabotaged the spacecraft to delay a possible early return to Earth due to alleged sickness of one member of the IS crew. So, like the current what's it called? Sunspot Observatory, and this is another one that sort of people are speculating on. But where is the bit about the person? I'm sure I read it here. Yeah, I just can't spot it now. but we'll find out probably eventually. And why it was done. So there's probably enough on that one anyway. Obviously someone wants it to go wrong. So I was just looking at looking at new theories on this sunspot location, and one of the theories was that it uses Mercury to rotate that dome on the top here. Instead of using rollers, they use a fluid of mercury, which is highly poisonous. And a lot of people were speculating that they closed it off to do maintenance, and there had been a spill. And here it says, some spots says mercury spill isn't behind mysterious evacuation, and insists they have not made contact with aliens despite claims of UFO sightings. So it talks about here mercury float bearing. So that was just come out there, I think, and the news is just going around the web now. But people have been making all sorts of claims on conspiracy channels, and it's not good. But there has been one put out on Secure Team 10 with a drone footage that he got found. So I'll just play something and talk about it. Now, if, as I said last stream, I noticed it's all around September 11. And FBI normally only close down locations if they've picked up some chatter to do with a terror cell. Or there could be someone working in the place that they've been monitoring, and they've probably closed it down to search it, maybe. Search for new evidence. So it's all speculation, but even Nick Pope has got into it, saying FBI is the wrong group to close down a facility if it's to do with sunspots and alien invasion. I'll see if I can find him on Twitter, actually. He's put out a few bits and pieces. Yes, I think if you've watched that Mojo video analysed, and I was still not 100% sure if he faked it or not. But I gave the guy the benefit of that. It's definitely not CGI. And they faked it with costumes and LED lights. He did some crazy stuff because if he wanted to make it more believable, why would you put red flashing lights on it, So if he faked it, he'd stuffed up by doing that, because it made instantly people a bit suspect, because UFOs would like to be, well, they're sort of creeping around in the dark, aren't they, and sound or abducting people. They don't want to have red flashing lights to bring attention to it. But I'm not sure if you've watched that one or not, and I did a live update on that, talking about the claims from a certain channel that sort of called me names. But yeah, go and check it out sometime if you haven't watched it. It's a very good video, and I think it's up there with Stan Romanek, but even better than Stan Romanek, because it even looks even more realistic to me. But I've always said to people, if it's not a hoax, then there's a lot of information here that we're sort of discarding, because if it's legit, it gives us a lot of information about UFOs and what the creatures look like. But yeah, I don't know. All I can do is try my best to see if I can spot anything in the enhancements and bring it to people's attention. But it's not like he's knocked out even better footage since then, 2011. So, and he reckons he lost his friends over it and stuff because they didn't believe him either. So that's the way it goes. What's Nick Pope Twitter account? I'm getting sidetracked a wee bit. I hate how it sort of makes it small at the top corner there. I really hate that feature they added into Chrome. That's why I like Firefox better. But unfortunately, you have to use their stuff now because streams don't work with Firefox. Or you have lots of problems. I have enough with Chrome. So here he is, Nick Pope. Somehow, I think to get decent UFO footage, I think either you're going to have to catch them out where they haven't got their cloaking on, or you never catch them out because they never have the cloaking off. Even at night time, even in that footage, I couldn't see any reflections of windows or chrome bumper bars, because some were saying it was ambulance. So there was no telltales for me, other than the lights were a bit, a bit like ambulance lights, maybe. That's the only claim they've got, So he said down here, I don't think the National Solar Observatory shutdown has anything to do with aliens. Mind you, if you ask the guy from Ancient Aliens, he would say, of course it's aliens. FBI would be wrong agency outside of X-Files, and if the theory is that they're trying to hide something, they just draw an attention to matters. It's not the way real cover-ups work. Very true. Nick had to say about it. Not sure if anyone really likes Nick much anymore. They reckon he's a government shill. Mind you, they think because I'm in New Zealand, I'm a government shill as well, which is kind of funny. It's hilarious. My last name is Skinner, by the way, so I tell people just call me Agent Skinner. It's quite funny, really. No, there's no object coming towards us. Believe me, there's a lot of amateur sky watchers out there with decent telescope. They would know. In fact, I can show you. It's nothing to do with the sun. Because I've got this queued up here. NASA actually has a page, which I'll post a link to it, which says almost real time, but I don't get it myself because I don't see it updating. So I'm not sure. Let's have a look. When was the last snapshot taken? 855. Let's see if I refresh it, if it will increase. Of course, it's probably going to take ages to load again. $855 was it? So, what's it mean? It updates every hour or every 2 hours? Probably have to refresh it again. So that was at 10:56 UT, which is universal time. So you'd have to convert that into a converter on Google to get it to your local time to work it out. But they have all these different filters to look at different chemicals in the sun and different heat. So that's why it's all different colors, and they merge it. But if you click on the image, it takes you to another page. So I'll just put in there. So above, ways to say what the links are, because it's not obvious on the side chat when people go back to it. Above is Sun U real time. In fact, I've got a feeling if there was an object coming towards us, it'll be like that cigar one, and that was only in our solar system for like 5 days, was it, or something like that? And it sort of swung back out. If it was going to impact us, I don't think they would have enough time to react to stop it. You know what I mean? I think you'll find a lot of activity around bases, underground bases in America, where they stockpile. And at the moment, they've got that big cyclone, flooding and winds. And there was quite a funny video that came out today where this guy's doing an interview for the Weather Channel. I'll see if I can find the link and play it. It's hilarious. It shows that he's clearly acting, and they call it Weatherman drama. But I'll show it to you in a minute. It's quite funny. So yeah, you can see here there's tons of different images, and if you read the bottom of these, it's got a video link on some of them, and it plays all the snapshots, I guess one every hour, the looks of it. Not sure how they call it real time. Maybe it takes an hour to process the image, you know. So I don't know, but they got different size images at the top here. How big you want it? I think PFSS. I'm not too sure what that stands for, but there are images as well, and then there's a video of it. So you can click on that video link. I'll just play it. There's actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about when you look at it. And hit play, and it'll probably suck my internet connection. Oh, here we go. It might already be cached because I had a look at it earlier. But there you go. You can see it's time lapse, so it's definitely not real time. So I'm guessing this area here is what they call sunspots. And the question is, what is a sunspot? So once it's queued, it'll start spinning around like the planet Earth. But you can have a play on your own computers on that. It's quite fun having a look. So what is a sunspot? This is a good question. Is it heat? Is it a lack of heat? Sunspot. So is it going to make it bigger? It should automatically make it bigger. What's happened? So it's gone wrong. It normally makes it bigger for me, for everybody to read it. That might be too big now, I guess. Drop it back a bit. So sunspots are darker, cooler. There you go. Cooler areas on the sun's surface of the sun in a region called the photosphere. This photosphere has a temperature of 5,800 degrees Kelvin. Sunspots have temperatures of about 380 degrees Kelvin. So it's like 2,000 degrees difference. I wish they're talking Celsius, because I'm used to Celsius, but everybody in America is used to Fahrenheit. They should list all three, I guess. How do you get rid of sunspots? Slice of fresh lemon. I think that's talking about, those spots you get on your skin. They call them sunspots. I don't think it's the ones we're talking about at the moment. What is the cause of sunspots? Oh, well, let's have a look at this one. It could be funny too. Oh, what's happened? I lost my cursor. Sunspots caused by the sun's magnetic field well and up to the photosphere, the sun's visible surface. The powerful magnetic fields around sunspots produce active regions on the sun. So there you go. I kind of like this little thing they pull from websites, little paragraphs. It's kind of handy. Sunspots, a sign of cancer. That's probably talking about the skin again. Yep, skin with age spots, also known as sunspots or liver spots, have nothing to do with the liver and are caused instead by long-term sun exposure. Some of these dark spots here may look suspicious, like melanoma. Yeah, so I've got some of these dark spots appearing where I got moles. I'll probably have to get the doctor to look at one on my leg. So you got to be careful of skin cancer, especially in Australia, where it's the worst, because it goes into your hands and spreads throughout your body. So it's always to be careful of that. So that's what a sunspot is. So we'll just have a look at his drone footage now, I guess. So he's put this one here, sunspot equals ghost town. Now, I still think it's been closed down because of a threat. They picked up chatter online probably, and they shut it down around 9/11. They probably have a holiday then now, do they, in America? I'm not too sure on that. It also would be a good time to do maintenance when people have a little mini holiday. So if FBI's guarding the site, right, they would certainly have a what you call a drone gun where it shoots. Well, it certainly blocks the radio signal to it and makes it fall to the ground. So they're saying there's no one near apart from two guys walking around. But it doesn't look like it's heavily patrolled there now, does it? The thing here with this footage, though, is it doesn't have a timestamp on the screen. So there's the two guys down here. And I think someone said online that these two guys talked about a drone in the sky, so they're probably illegally in that sealed off area. So if FBI is serious about security, they would probably be removing his video because it's a security breach, and it would be removing that other video that is listed down here to the original. And they certainly would be after those two guys that have broken in. But it's kind of silly, really. They probably haven't got face masks on. You don't know if it's a virus outbreak or anything like that. And all this sort of conspiracies going around, instead of just waiting to hear back once the investigation is completed, they will tell us what the real reason was. But yeah. Someone's got a good drone here, though. It does some good stuff, doesn't it? But in America, you now have to register your drone. And I'm not too sure even if you have to submit a flight plan where you're going to fly it each day. It's very possible, and how high you fly it. There's a lot of regulations and big fines now, up to $100,000. I thought I read somewhere. So yeah. Ancient aliens, yes. Well, they're entertainment, aren't they? And some of those guys just make me laugh. That David, what's his name? Childress. He's just a crack up. And he says it's got to be aliens on everything, doesn't he? And Giorgio, he's like the most liked personality in the UFO field. And he talks utter rubbish as well, but he gets away with it in reason. And he's making probably millions of dollars doing so. So yeah, so you can see here, security team is milking this Sunspot one. He's got 3 videos up now on it. Sunspot, Solar, Observatory, News, Blackout, Space, Observatory, Mystery. So yeah, if people are looking for UFO videos, I'm certainly not getting it from his channel anymore. SkinWalker Ranch. Oh, that was another thing. Have I got the link up for that? I was reading all the reviews coming in, and some people were blaming his channel for recommending it with hype, and they were very disappointed in it and want them $15 back. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But let's see. I think I've got a bookmark to the reviews. I'll probably get back to that in a minute, though. So yeah, Ancient Aliens is a good one I talk about in previous lives, called Ancient Aliens Debunked. It's about 3 hours long, but not too sure on that. It is quite long, and it's worth watching. You can find it on YouTube anyway. And they do present ways that rocks can be moved, and they show people actually doing experiments, how they move. Did you know Stonehenge has been rebuilt at least 5 times? I think it is 3 or 5 times. I kind of remember reading an article about that. And they use, guess what? Cranes to do it. So it is possible for men to lift heavy blocks. I think they had to redo the foundations so it was safe for tourists. In fact, you probably can find out on Google here. So this thing that man couldn't have built, even Stonehenge, is total rubbish. How'd you spell it? Rebuilt. I can't even see what I'm typing. Well, see, here you go. How they rebuilt Stonehenge even 50 years ago. So what's it say here? I think they've rebuilt it a couple of times actually. But yeah, as you can see, there's guys that showing you how they can lift up heavy blocks just by using a seesaw motion and wedges. And in theory, you could do it with any large rock as long as you can get enough counterweight to keep rocking it. So that's a good video to watch there. He makes his own little Stonehenge in his garden. Give me, I'll just open it up. I did include some photos in my pyramid one I did, talking about airships, ancient airships. So you can see it's pretty old. So this isn't a current video. But it's an interesting one to watch if it's the same one. I think it was from a TV in UK. You can see it's pretty old. 1990s maybe, or even earlier. But I'll just skim it just to make sure. Oh yeah, it's it was on Canada. There you go. But Canada and UK do things together. Canada uses a lot of UK shows. But eventually he lifts it up. You can see here he's got it quite high at the moment. And just using slabs of wood to lift all that up. But Giorgio used to say, oh, you can't lift up that huge block. You know, the one that is way bigger than that, obviously. You can't put it on wheels. It crushes the axles or it smashes up the wheels. But not if they use stone wheels, it doesn't. I talk about that in my video as well, the pyramids one. And basically they have clip-on wheels made from stone. They clip it right around the block, and they simply just roll it along the ground, just like a normal cart. But yeah, it's a good little video, that one, showing how he does it. Eventually he builds one stone foundation off Stonehenge, I think. I'm not sure if it's in this particular video. Yeah, they got one up. There you go. They make it upright eventually as well. Make it upright and they put a cap on top. And he does it pretty accurately too. I think that's just one of the clips actually. This is only 5 minutes. I think it was like a 15-minute episode on TV. There's probably another part to it where they build the cap on top. See if you can find it. And 1954 photos showing Stonehenge being rebuilt. There you go. So this is how they would have put those big, those needles in the sky, and the Egyptian writing down the sides. And I'll post that one there too. Yeah, but not a lot of people don't even know about that. And of course, Coral Castle has been figured out as well. There's a good video on Coral Castle. Which is a fascinating place. A lot of theories was the guy worked out how to use electricity to levitate blocks. But it turns out he just uses normal chisels and hand-powered levers and cogs. So you know how cogs work with the various rolls. It increases the pulling strength, and the more turns you have onto it with the rope. And that's what he was using. And he was just using a little small electric motor connected to car battery or something like that, truck battery, to help him lift up these big blocks. There's a video that shows it. They found some footage online. Who we got? Hey, Renee, is it? Yeah, we were just talking about that. We've been covering lots of topics. Well, glad you could join us. I was just talking about the Stonehenge being rebuilt and people didn't know about it. But there's also Coral Castle, which is in America. Solved. You can see straight away Google's given up some most common searches. And which one is it? 100% solved. 1930s film footage. So that's another good one to watch. So not to watch what these other sites are showing. That's 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Probably adding their own stuff to it. Which one's the oldest? That's the oldest one here, by the looks of it. So this one might be the one to watch. All the others are copycats. So I'll post that one there for you anyway. Looks like they're doing a good job of showing where it is and all that, presenting it to you. I think I've got it in my old books, you know, those 40-year-old books I've got, magazines, before the internet was around. I think this was one of the stories in it, how they were trying to work out how he figured it out. How to lift 2-ton blocks by himself. And he worked at night time, so no one saw what he was doing. But yeah, looks like it's got a lot of talking and photographs. So it's sort of one you probably have to watch yourself. I'll just skim it anyway, see what. So he's talking about the theories. But here's some pictures of him lifting blocks with block and tackle. So he's sort of putting out all the conspiracies or theories of how he did it. And it's not really that complex. Now, we're just looking at that Stonehenge one a minute ago. So, looks like it's another clip of that one I just posted. Maybe that has more footage in it, actually. What was the other ones here? Not sure if that's the best one to watch, actually. Finally, let's have a look at that one. Yes, I'm not too sure. Which was the one with the full video. Could be this one here after all at the front. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, I certainly turned the sound on. Oh, there's the block and tackle. There's that strange box at the top they talk about. Oh, there's the footage. There you go. He's definitely lifting it by himself. You can see here it's a 3-chain system, or two, actually two. So he only needed two. And that's the Stonehenge guy going, isn't it? Oh, well, I'll post that one down the side if you want to watch it properly. It's still fascinating, though. If we do a search on pulleys, understanding pulleys, you can see that you can lift quite a lot of weight. How pulleys work. Not sure if I talked about this before, but the science of pulleys is quite interesting. I think it might even be a video about it that talks about all the different methods out there. You can see there's a fair bit there. I would have to probably find out. Let's have a look. So that one there, similar to that guy at Coral Castle. So it's like a big chain that they use, spins it around up here. But I'm not sure if I can find that link that explains it really good. And there's a double one. So to lift up what they're saying here, using two pulleys, is 100 grand mass only takes 50k force. So the more pulleys you use, the lower that number up here will be. So if it went round going, which is what they do in the next one, adding some more pulleys to it. 25 kgs to lift, 100 k's, yep. So it's fascinating stuff, how someone worked all that out. So you normally get 2 or 3. Looks like 2 is pretty common. Here's one for a mine, I guess. For lifts, you know, how they use it lifting buildings or mines. Anyway, so saying men can't do it. They're not having much faith in men. Aliens probably can't do it because they're sort of skinny arms sort of things. So they're going to have to use block and tackle as well. Whether they can get a floating platform to put blocks on is another thing. So that was Coral Castle, so close that down. So where do we get to? We're talking about the solar thing. So we're done with that. And that one. So that's the other thing here. Why people shouldn't put out conspiracies, because some people in our environment are a bit snowflakes and they do crazy things. As Dazza the cameraman, I'm not sure if you're a member of his site, but he's put out a video here. This video by Mrs. Red, or RD. This is why we debunkers do what we do. So I've actually got a link to this video, and I'll post it down the side because it's worth having a watch. What it's about. But it's about scaremongering, which is this one here. What do you guys saying? What's insane? You cut it all by hand. Yeah, I reckon the Coral Castle blocks. All you need is a wood saw. You could cut right through them. But there's also ways to cut it with rotating rope on a again pulley of electric motor, and just goes around and round and round. That's how they cut it. And jade, you might have seen jade cutters. Yeah. But if you see the old classic galleon ships, they used pulleys a lot to lift up the masts and that heavy canvas they use for sails. So this one here is I'll just play a clip on it. But all these people killed themselves because they believed in end of days. And this is really why fear mongering conspiracy sites are actually bad. And as you know, I did some stuff on remote viewing on the Far Sight channel, and apparently they're the ones that caused Heaven's Gate to commit suicide, because they said there was a alien race or UFO following Hal. What is it? The Halley Comet, or whatever it was called. And it turned out not to be so, as we found out later, because they didn't come to visit us. A lot of people believed the CERN 66 stuff that was going to make black holes, and they simply killed themselves and the kids. A lot of crazy people out there. So that's another one to watch. Obviously, they're talking about it, so you probably have to listen to it. Fear mongering coverage. People, Australia, 2005 teenager. Normally I'd play the sound, but I'm not sure if I got it set up. Yeah, that's another thing. They thought because Trump won the election, that he was going to start a nuclear war, and all the kids were crying. I had people on Facebook saying all the kids are crying because Trump won the election, and we're all going to die. Because the media drummed it all up. The media are also responsible, not just YouTube. So yeah, so this is all real cases to do with conspiracy websites that are bad. So yeah, that remote viewing guy, Chris Brown, was it? He was on Art Bell's radio show, talking about this comet coming towards us, and it had that two of his remote viewers saw alien craft trailing in its tail, and Heaven's Gate, to mean that they commit suicide, they'll go up into heaven or whatever, into space, and join the alien race and the UFO or something. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Heaven's Gate, these guys out there, but it was like a cult, but like Billy Meyer stuff. And they were sort of like a lot of clever people as well. A lot of them were computer programmers, coders. Okay. A UFO cult, they call them, I guess. Religious group. And this guy here, he kind of looks like a crazy man, doesn't he, in these photographs? To me, it looks like that Dr. Smith from the early Lost in Space characters. Heaven's Gate cult initiation tape. And that's what they did. Like, they took poison and laid in bed with new, I don't know, was it Nike shoes or something? Or Reeboks or some brand. So Heaven's Gate 20 years on. Let's have a quick look at that one since we're talking about them. 10 things we didn't know. And is it going to take forever to load? Yeah, looks like it's slow loading. So what are these guys saying? You shouldn't be smoking at all. It's bad for you. I've had lots of family members die from smoking-related problems. No, they don't. The pyramids were built by men. Just go and watch Ancient Aliens Debunked. In those videos I just posted, you're seeing men are quite able to build stuff. And ancient aliens don't have a clue, or they're simply lying. There was a guy on one of those Art Bell shows when he was doing the new one. What's it called? Midnight in the Desert. He did a show with some experts, and he was doing a review of ancient aliens, or writing a book about ancient aliens. The people, not the actual ancient aliens, but he was actually doing a book on the writers of ancient aliens. And he got his secretary to cross-reference all their references, where they got their information from. And basically, she come back and said none of them reference any actual factual information, and they just reference each other. So, yeah. So that was on that, I don't know what it was called now, what episode it was, but if you can dig it up and go and have a listen to what he was saying, And because Bell asked him what he thought about ancient aliens, and he talked about how they're always researching stuff to verify the books that is claiming stuff. It was actually a really interesting episode. So it's just not enough hours in the day to listen to everything that's out there and to work out which ones are credible and useful and ones that are just nonsense conspiracies. So where's the 10 things? We need bullets. I suppose it's all a load of reading. 20 years after their mass suicide made headlines, Heaven's Gate is still one of the most notorious cults, not to mention one of the most recognizable. In March 1997, America was shocked by the strange story that included mass suicide, wild public access style videos, and obsession with UFOs. That's you, Renee. And in true late 90s fashion, tracksuits and matching Nikes. That sounds a bit like Captain, what's his name? The Disillusion. They also had a new recruitment tool, the internet. Heaven's Gate has the distinction of being the first well-known American cult of the internet era, using new technology to share their beliefs with a wider audience. They derived their large portion of income from designing web pages, blah, 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 that though. So where's these 10 facts we don't know? Though the web would eventually become central. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing. 39 members, including Applewhite, wearing black tracksuits and sneakers, ate applesauce laced with barbiturates and washed it down with vodka. Then put bags over their heads. Oh, that's a good way to go. Purple shrouds over their bodies and lay down to leave their earthly vehicles behind. So where's the 10 things? These must be the headlines here, is it? 10 things. Suicides took place over the course of 3 days. Part of Heaven's Gate's dogma was that everything had to be precisely the same. The next level was a place without gender, and that led to castration. Sounds painful. The cult went out for a last supper together. 2 surviving members likely still operate the cult's website. One of the ways that Heaven Gate paid the bills was with a web design group called Higher Source. Their website is still online. Is it? Why is it not clicking? I don't know. I thought it was a click. I thought they were going to say they're working for Apple. Oh well. Enough on them. I was going to talk about Ley Lines next. So yeah, the Sunspot thing. Oh yeah, I was going to look at that video. It was quite funny. See if I can find it. See if I can find the link on the other screen here. I may have posted it to my Google Plus. I have. See if it works. This is a good reason not to trust mainstream media, I think. See this guy here. It's pretending it's a strong wind. You can see here it's some wind, obviously, and rain coming down. Have you seen this at all? And look, you got people walking around behind, and this guy's acting like an idiot. See that? They're not even swaying or anything. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, have a watch of it. Look at the people walking behind. It's windy, but they're not really feeling like it's like a tornado strength wind. You can see there's some wind there, but it's not like 100 miles an hour there. It's just hilarious. I love that. How to be caught out. So this stone is 100 million tons. I already told you, as long as you can swing it on a seesaw action, you can lift any sized rock. But you might not be able to get away with wood wedges. You might have to use metal wedges, stuff that doesn't sort of crush under the weight of the 15, whatever it is, ton rock that you reckon it is. Don't think it's 15 million tons. What are you talking about? Are you saying the total pyramid is 15 million tons? So that's the thing with the Romans. They used to go and conquer other countries, and what they used to do is they used to assimilate all their technology. So they used to always be improving their understanding of science, and go and take gunpowder from the Chinese, or fight them and reverse engineer how they did it, or take someone prisoner and interrogate them. And they used to have water that used to run uphill, and those archways, that they built are still up today. And we still use it today. The arch, the power of the arch, how you put the keystone in, Roman arch. How you spell it? And of course, we got underground sewage and toilets and baths. All comes from the Romans, but they did it by conquering other countries and taking their good ideas and improving on them. And they invented concrete as well. Built massive structures such as aqueducts, which provide water to cities, created an arch that could support huge amounts of weight. They also did a lot of bad things, and they tried to conquer UK, and they got their asses whipped. So yeah. I think if you're on an island with a sea in between, it sort of makes it a bit harder to get in there to attack all at the same time, I guess. But they did leave the mark on UK. So I'll just, where was my ley lines? But I'll go back. So yeah, so what are ley lines? Now I've got this picture. Where is it? This one here, I think, showing ley lines. And we were talking about SkinWalker Ranch. And Utah. Las Vegas is here. And I think that's Salt Lake here. Salt Lake, but you can just read it. And I think SkinWalker Ranch was around about there where we were talking about. So it's got one crossover point. More accurate for us to be able to zoom in and see where the SkinWalker Ranch is. See that place over here, it looks like it's going to be more active. It's got 6 crossovers. And this one here with the big solid lines, where's that one going to? Up there. And there's one down here near Florida. And at the moment they've got the big storm coming up through this way and around, I guess. So I'm not too sure what's there. As you can see, it's not particularly clear. So the question was, how do they know what ley lines are? And we'll have a read of that. I think I've got another pictures here, trying to find even easier ones to read. And I found this one here, which again is very different to the one we just looked at. So yeah, I can't figure out in my head why they'd be so different. But if I zoom into that one, you can read this one a wee bit better. And this one zooms in here, which is, again, the area of Salt Lake City. See that? And that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 lines going right to one location. And looks like this one here goes further down to where we saw on the other map. You see it's down here, so rather than over here. So it looks to me it's like someone's interpretation of where these lines should be. They call them earth grid or energy lines. But again, there, I don't think that's SkinWalker Ranch. I think it's more where Salt Lake City is, but still, as you see, it's not enough detail there. So we have to find out what ley lines are. And if we go back and read the wiki page, oh, the Men in Black shut down. I thought we got past that subject already. I think what shut it down was not MIBs, but FBI. We know that for a fact. But again, my theory is it's going to be related to 9/11. They closed it down 3 days before, and this said it's going to be till further notice. So something's gone on there with, which we know for sure is security related. And obviously they're investigating a potential crime, or someone that works there was going to, they picked up some chatter. So we've covered sort of all that already. But back to Ley Lines. So ley lines are apparent alignments of landmarks. Well, what to do with energy then? Religious sites and man-made structures. So that's why the lines can be anyone's interpretations, right? The pseudo-scientific belief that these apparent lines are not accidental speculates that they are straight, navigable paths that have spiritual significance. The phrase was coined in 1921 by the amateur archaeologist Alfred Watkins, who identified apparent alignments of places of geographical and historical interest, such as ancient ruins or monuments, ridgetops, and fords, in his book Early British trackways and old straight track. He sought to identify prehistoric trackways in the British landscape. Watkins later developed theories that these alignments were created for ease of overland travel by line-of-sight navigation during Neolithic times and had persisted in the landscape over millennia. So, Michael Mitchell revived the term ley lines associated with spiritual and mystical theories about alignments of the landforms, drawing on Chinese concept of Fen Su. I thought it was called Fen Fei. Fen Su. He believed that a mystical network of ley lines existed across Britain, obviously around the world as well. A notion actively promoted by Lay Hunter magazine. So yeah, it talks a bit about that. The ley line hypothesis is a type of pseudoscience, a random distribution of a sufficient number of points on a plane. So yeah, it's open to interpretation is basically what they're saying. So from that search, I found these other links. So I'm not sure if you watched the SkinWalker Ranch movie yet, or found an online source where you don't have to pay. There is out there. What was I going to look up? Mine's gone blank all of a sudden. Ley Lines. Oh yeah, I was looking up the book for you. But the book for you is quite interesting. And like I was saying, how I was disappointed. Apparently I'm not the only one. Emerson Custer, Hunt for SkinWalker. Now you can have a read of that. So these have come out since all the hype. And apparently I was trying to get hold of iTunes because I think most people bought it through iTunes. And you can't get access to the reviews unless I install some rubbish on my computer that sort of infects it. So iTunes can watch what I do, I guess, or Apple. But I wasn't willing to do that. But it won't allow us to read the reviews on the iTunes site unless you've got this installed. So, yeah, I was going to have a look at those as well. What are you saying? No, not the movie, the documentary. The 2018 one. It says up here, Hunt for the SkinWalker. Although it doesn't have the year number. By George Knapp. Oh, that's the book I've got there. This is reviews for the actual movie, which is based on the book. You can see some people got lots to say. Some people liked it. Here's a 2-star. No more information in the book. Nothing new. Poorly executed. Slow. Nat's work is far better. Waste of time. There are only 1 or 2 new stories reported in the film. Just talking heads. This is a 40-minute film padded to 2 hours. I think it only went up to 5 pages. Now it's up to 9, so there's probably a whole heap more added since. What they're saying here. Again, no new information, but a good compilation of what is out there. That's basically what I said. Do not buy. I believe there are strange things happening at SkinWalker Ranch, but no proof. Now, there was a couple of people that commented on Tyler's thing, people that actually live in the area. And one is a neighbor. He said he lives and he can see the tree line off the ranch, SkinWalker Ranch. And he's been living there for 25 years and he's never seen a UFO in the sky over it, nor on his own property, or had anything strange happen to him. So he said he's like 3.25 acres away from it. Waste of money, trailer is better than the show. And don't waste your money. Don't buy, rent, or watch. Exact same stories on YouTube, nothing new. Disappointing. So he's getting slammed here. Not as interesting as I thought. But what's funny is someone actually said, I think it might be on iTunes, not on this one, that they wanted that they blamed Tyler for hyping it up. There was no video footage. The movie is just eyewitness statements without any video footage of any kind. Oh, here you go. There is one. I blame secure team for this. Good stuff. I love it. I don't want this video. How do I cancel it? So these are all verified. So they're not sort of people adding fake reviews. They've actually purchased it. So you can see they're not quite happy, quite a lot of them. Some liked it, of course. Some watched Jeremy Corbell ruin his own movie. There's proof that you can't act. Proof that you can act in your own documentary and direct your own. I think they mean can't. You can't act and direct at the same time. But unless you have the ability to leave your personal faith and beliefs at the door, you better get a good editor. Corbell's multi-rambling monologues ruined the pacing of what otherwise could have been a spooky and decently based paranormal anecdotal set. Instead, it's 30 minutes of hype and wind up with Corbell showing boxes full of paper and talking about it all. So there you go. And it goes on a bit there. I won't read it all out. Expands on the book, but forgot to tell the story. That's what I was saying. They didn't actually tell you where the location was, so I did all that in the live last time. What if I did a snapshot of what another guy said? He said, another Indian guy said, Skinwalker term come from their Indian tribe called Skinwalkers that attacked Mormons living on the property, and that they killed all the family, females and kids. And that he also said it's probably a sacred burial site as well. So the land has spirits trying to force people off it because they're not welcome there. One of the comments on Tyler's thing, if you can find it anyway. Someone said it was boring, which I found the first hour to be like that. I was hoping it was going to be like what Ghost Adventures did. They actually tried to get some evidence, and they used all sort of the highest tech available, like full spectrum, and they sort of spooked themselves out, I think, but at least it was entertaining. But you think if he was doing this film and he's been hyping it up for 6 months, that he'd be camping on the land until he actually caught something in the sky, even if it's a light. Yeah. But my criticism was there was no balance. He didn't actually get those photographs, and he didn't get them tested by someone with skills in photo analysis like Mark D'Antio, and didn't get any new interviews with all the scientists and present what data they got. I wanted to know if they did like soil samples, like a full core sample, and did tests to see what was underground, whether it was water, underground water system, limestone, or whatever's underground there. Because as you know, if you ever follow paranormal stuff, they talk about limestone in UK can amp up paranormal sightings because it retains energy. Also, it can play back sounds. Some said that the buildings themselves in UK have sort of like recorded like because it's got magnetism in some of the rocks, that they can actually record the sounds of like old time pub sounds, and occasionally when you get electrostatic that runs over it, it sort of plays back like a tape deck. So, and vibrates the material in the brick to create sound again. I think someone demonstrated it. I think I saw a video a long time ago where some guy was showing how you could get some crazy sounds from this rock. So yeah, and also if there's water, they say water supercharges paranormal activity. So if there's underground water, sort of can happen with if it's like a water underneath. But more likely, could they have underground tunnels with military underneath that they don't know about? That's why they wanted to know. Dug on the land. He had to say he's going to dig to the previous owner or something like that, or the Bigelow, wherever they're going to dig on the land before they went ahead and did it. So yeah, but yeah, if you go through all the comments here, sort of you get a good idea. It's sort of like how many was it now? It was a bit lower before when I looked at it, but it was like 50-50, but now it's up to almost 60 liked it. And if you add up all those ones, 40% didn't like it because of the lack of evidence. So, but yeah, I don't really like Corbell's editing style myself, and I found, like I said in a comment, I didn't like the music in it because when you're trying to listen to, I think it was Bigelow, he had a bit where Bigelow was talking. He had the background music that seemed to be louder than the guy was talking, and it was quite annoying. It was hard to listen to it. But I think other people have picked that up in the comments there as well, anyway. So yeah, you can see here there's a lot of pictures of ley lines around America, and you can see how they've changed locations. That one. There. All different locations. Crazy stuff. Look at that one. How could you possibly make any sense of that? You might as well just say everywhere is ley lined. That's almost like New Zealand earthquake faults. Christchurch is pretty much where I live, is pretty much like that with earthquake faults. And what we got here, Salt Lake City, Ley Lines. That's what I was saying. So where was the ranch? We looked at it. It was down here somewhere, wasn't it? So it doesn't even work. Oop. And Las Vegas is down here somewhere. So yeah, if that was smack on the ranch on all these diagrams, then I'd say there might be something to it, but somehow I don't think so. Here's one doing Bermuda triangles. Don't know if we can read it, it's a bit small. Triangle there, triangle there, triangle there. So what landmarks are they connecting it to, you see? And I don't think SkinWalker Ranch is in the points of the triangles here. What's that say? Something mystery. Yeah, it's a bit hard to read. It's blurry, isn't it? Like I said, it's really hard to get a good map. Look at this one. This one's really crazy. It's just a lot of lines everywhere. Pentagram of blood. And now we've got a circle one. At, what's that saying? Can't quite read it. Grand something. So, yeah, I don't know. People just seeing different patterns everywhere. Here's another one. Circles and squares and triangles. Well, that gang doesn't look like it's in SkinWalker Ranch. It's up here somewhere. There's another one. Circles and cross. Oregon Vortex. Yeah, so that's some English and European ones. It's bound to be some in Australia too, isn't there? So yeah, I don't sort of believe in ley lines after looking at all that. I don't know about you guys. Here's a world map one, planetary grid. And looks like up there is not Utah or Salt Lake City either on this one. And looks like nothing is even landing in New Zealand or Australia here. And UK's got one. So I'm not too sure I'd believe that one. So yeah. Not sure if we've got any other ones we haven't sort of seen already. So I'll close that one down. So that's another one of later ley lines as well. But I think we're seeing most of these. So there's a couple of articles that linked from that search, which was quite interesting. So let's just have a read of it. Hey, Vin. Thanks for joining us, I guess. How long have we been going? Almost 2 hours now. We're just taking it easy and just looking over things, talking about it anyway. So Gloucestershire Ley Lines. So that's back to UK. Ley lines are one of the most enduring Earth mysteries. A network of prehistoric pathways crisscross the country. Some believe them to have mystical significance. Ley lines, also known as leys and dragon lines, are a phenomenon most people have heard of, but few really understand. Indeed, it would be fair to say that no one understands them fully, as they remain unexplained. Are there ley lines in Gloucestershire? If so, do they really pass through allegedly haunted places? From what we do know, a ley line seems to be a straight line that carries an altered form of Earth's magnetic field. However, it is proven difficult to define that power even to this day. The thing is, if that was the case of ley lines passing Earth's magnetic field, you should be able to use an EMF meter to actually prove that the line exists. It has been claimed that birds, fish, and animals use them as compasses, helping them find direction back to the breeding grounds. But as you saw on those maps, they're all different. There's probably at least 10 variations of the ley lines. So if the birds were following one set of lines, then it means all those other ones are all wrong. And to warmer climates during winter months, it also has been said to be a vast prehistoric trade routes. An article in New Scientist magazine published in 1987 suggested that species as diverse as pigeons, whales, and bees, and even bacteria, can navigate using the Earth's magnetic field. It is thought that the tissue containing a substance called magnetite is responsible for this. Magnetite enables living creatures to sense magnetic changes and has been found in human tissue linked to the lymph mold bone in the front of skull. So what defines a ley line? It's a very straight line of prehistoric. That's from the Wikipedia. Oxford Dictionary. Between hilltops. Alignments and patterns of powerful invisible earth energy said to connect various sacred sites, such as churches, temples, stone circles, megaliths, holy wells, burial sites. So name it, you can draw lots of lines everywhere. The more spiritual and romantic belief is that they ooze back the energy from all who have trodden these mystical religious paths since time began. So why are haunters reported in places ley lines are alleged to pass through? For the believer, it could be said that these areas are likely to have more spirit activity, as they are historically a religious, political, and even mystical nature. There's even belief that UFOs are drawn to these ley lines, making them attractive to investigators of the particular phenomenon. It's true that more paranormal activity is evidence in these areas. However, whether this is of spirit type or paranormal in its true sense, unexplained, is still a topic of much debate. For the follower of the more scientific approach, other explanations for the seemingly increased incidence of paranormal activity are possible. And it's got a picture here, the Ram Inn built on ley lines. Generally, it's believed that electromagnetic fields can affect the body and mind. We sort of covered that in a few live streams back, talking about mind control. Although it's been banned in New Zealand, so those in New Zealand won't be able to watch it unless you use that Epic browser. Gets around the silly YouTube block or VPN or whatever. But other effects of this type of energy are said to be similar to those of static electricity, feelings of tingling on the skin and hair standing on end. The energy is thought to produce vibrations on a low frequency, which, although inaudible to the human ear, can alter perception and create sensations of dizziness and unbalance. So there you go. So is there anything else that we need to read out? Could energy from Earth itself be tampering with our audio-visual devices, causing interference in some way? This may account for incidents of EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, on audio recordings by changing the frequency of the evidence. The weather can also influence investigations. For example, hauntings are often reported during thunderstorms. Maybe this is due to psychological reasons, the result of horror films where there is always a storm as evil spirits grow stronger. Or perhaps it's because there is, in fact, more paranormal activity during a storm. Again, this, to the believer, could be a spirit generating energy from the power around it. To the scientists, it could be the electricity linked with the storm causing natural phenomenon that makes us feel other than the norm is happening, or the electrical power around us affecting our senses and perceptions. How are ley lines found? Geomancy, how do you say that word, is considered to play a strong part in the location. Science of geomancy depends that structures be placed within the landscape according to certain magical formulas that included the laws of mathematics and music. It goes on a bit, doesn't it? General belief is prehistoric man was aware of these cosmic lines. Priests or shamans of prehistoric men would have been expected to find these lays and work out their connection with other existing monuments accordingly, and also believed that many ancient groves worshipped by the Druids sit upon lays. Oh, certainly goes on a bit. Ley lines and haunted places. The first ley line would seem to pass through the Ram Inn, Woodchester Mansion, and at the moment I see Paranormal Luck with Nick Croft is doing episodes in UK at the moment, doing places like this. I'm not sure if you watched it or not, but they I think there was some stuff that showed up tonight, some leaks online if you want to go and dig them up. Sounds like they've caught some really crazy sounds on normal videotape, so be worth going and check them out if you're into paranormal. Sounds like they're not going to release the episodes to Americans yet. Last season, only the UK got to see it, and I think there were no leaks from season 3. So at the moment they're playing season 4. So yeah, I just saw that tonight being talked about. So here's people's comments at the end here on that article, debating whether they're real or not. So, Ryan, what do you got to say? I'm not really debunking stuff. I'm sort of talking about stuff, I guess. You can only debunk stuff if you've got facts. What subjects did I cover tonight? Started off with the Sunspot Observatory being closed down, and what else did I look at? The space station, that someone's drilling holes into one of the spacecraft up there. And all sorts of other things in between, wasn't it? Coral Castle and how to move heavy blocks. Some videos I posted up above worth having a watch. And now I'm on to Ley Lines and relationship to SkinWalker Ranch. So we're done with that one. So there was another one here which was quite a good one as well. Probably should have pasted that last one for these guys. But I think I read out my... I'll post this one. Law and lure of... I've got a pop-up happening here. Law and lure of ley lines. And we've got Stonehenge and we've got pyramids here. Ley lines are said to connect sites such as Stonehenge and Great Pyramids. Many people believe that... I'll just zoom in. Mind you, it goes too big. Need in-between size. I suppose it's probably big enough. Many people believe that a grid of Earth energies circles the globe, connecting important and sacred sites such as Stonehenge, the pyramids, and the Great Wall of China. If you plot these and other sites on the map, it becomes apparent many of them can be connected by straight lines, where these monuments and sacred sites specifically built at those locations by ancient people with lost knowledge of unknown earth energies, especially strong along these ley lines. History of ley lines. People have often found special significance in the unusual landmarks and geological features surrounding them. How mountain peaks and majestic valleys may be viewed as sacred, for example. While deep, dark caves have often been considered the domain of the underworld, the same is true for roads in the 1800s. On the British Isles, many people believed in mysterious fairy paths, trails connected certain hilltops in the countryside. It was considered dangerous, or at the very least unwise, to walk on those paths during certain days, because the wayward traveller might come upon a parade of fairies who would not take kindly to the human interruption. Of course, isn't it the Swedish people won't build roads because they believe... what is it, a troll or a fairy lives at a certain rock location? There's some crazy stories that come out about that. Was it Iceland or Greenland? Can't remember now. That is quite a funny story. So, where do we get to? Was there anything else that's worth talking about here that we haven't covered already? So, because of the New Age interest, ley lines rose from the mundane origins to an entire field of study, spawning books, seminars, and groups of ley line enthusiasts who gather to discuss research and walk the ley lines. Ley lines have also been incorporated into a variety of otherwise unrelated paranormal subjects, including Delson, UFOs, Atlantis, and crop circles. I was wondering about crop circles, and numerology. Science and pseudoscience. You won't find ley lines discussed in geographic or geology books, textbooks, because they aren't real, actual measurable things. Though scientists can find no evidence of the ley lines, they cannot be detected by magnetometers or any other scientific device. New Age's physics and others claim to be able to sense or feel the energy Watkins' original idea of ley lines is quite valid and rather intuitive. Archaeologists have long known that on a logical and regional scale, roads tend to be built in more or less straight lines, geographically allowing, and since a line is the shortest distance between 2 points, it makes sense that important sites in a given culture would often be aligned, not randomly placed. So yeah, it sort of does make sense. You would get patterns. Ley line experts cannot agree on which secret sites should in as data points. That's why I was talking about those maps. There's at least 10 for America. Some internationally known ancient sites are obvious choice, such as England's Stonehenge. Australia Ayers Rock, but on other regional and local level, it's anyone's game. Which wells are old enough or important enough? By serious choosing which data points to include or omit, a person can come up with any pattern he or she wishes to find. Well, that's what I found on those maps, which literally tens of thousands of potential data points around the globe. It's a little wonder that ley lines can be found everywhere. Possible points include castles, for even places with castle in the name, moats, churches, ancient mounds, ancient stones, wells, crossroads, special groups of trees, and so on. Indeed, there are so many potential points that by chance alone connecting them will form many straight lines and seemingly significant patterns. For example, the Great Wall of China is thousands of miles long, and surely some points of the wall will connect with many imaginary lines drawn across the globe from another important site. A good analogy is that ley lines exist in the same way that astrological constellations exist. You can draw or imagine lines connecting certain stars to form the horns of a Taurus constellation, the scales of Libra sign, or Big Dipper. But it doesn't mean that those points were placed there to make that pattern. So humans are always looking for patterns, is what they're saying here, which is true. Our brains are wired to see people's faces, to recognize people's faces. In fact, they say our brain is underused, that most of it's used just for social interactions, 80% of it, or 90% of it, because we're always interacting with each other and having fights and, sexual nature and all that sort of stuff. It takes up most of your brain to try and maintain relationships. I've heard that said before. In most cases, the location of these supposed significant ancient sites were not dictated by any sort of unknown earth energies, but by practical matters such as access to the building materials. Furthermore, many of these places are natural features such as Mount Everest and Ayers Rock. So, sort of goes on a bit. Whether ley lines exist or not, the fact that many people believe they do provide insight into human brains' amazing capacity for finding patterns. So there you go, that's what I was saying too. So some good art that you can find by searching ley lines. But there's no answer to it. If someone had proof, like this video here, it just makes you wonder if it's clickbait. So let's try ley lines. Proof. I'll probably come up with that video again. Yeah. But we don't know so much of our history because language and writing hasn't been around that long. Cave paintings, people with handprints on the wall and stick in people with big eyes saying they're aliens or whatever, It's open to interpretation because it doesn't actually say this is actually an alien come to visit us. So ancient alien guys can write a lot of that stuff into books and claim this and that, but you can't sort of refute it, can you? So it looks like we got that video still there. Magical ley lines debunked, skeptical science. Ley lines are supernatural that connect the universe. Well, I don't know if you watched that show called The Dead Fellas, but if you listen to that medium on there, what's her name? Amy. She comes across really believable in some of the stuff she comes up with. If you can believe that it hasn't been fabricated or cheated. She talks about vortexes and creatures coming out of the ground, demons, and also she talks about aliens in some episodes, that this family's being abducted. So seems to me that she sees aliens and demons and spirits as all being different things. But do you think they would have had some mediums go onto that SkinWalker Ranch? People like you, ones that sort of people claim that they couldn't have known stuff about them, like that Long Island medium. She comes out with stuff. Unless they're cheating, I don't know how she would know that they got a tattoo with such and such on their arm or whatever, because on the interview they also, unless they're cheating somehow, I don't know how she does it. So I don't know if these guys believe in mediums at all. Do you watch those shows out there? Me, I'm sort of 50-50 with. I would like to actually tag along and see if there's any cheating going on. Like, does she research it beforehand online, the person, and stuff like that? So I don't really like it when she does famous people because there's obviously more information out there. But if she goes up to someone randomly on the street and starts talking and says this and that, and they say, "How do you know that?" then it makes you think. But could it be a plant? It's also, you always got to have that critical thinking. Are they cheating somehow? So let's have a look at this video here. See what proof they reckon. Oh, church. But as we know, they said that they often build churches on roads. That's not exactly proof. Yeah. I can see this is going to go nowhere. Just looks like Google's not going to let me play it anyway. So we're going to see patterns, obviously. So they build churches in the same design, same shapes. Is that proof? Don't think so. So now he's going to join all the churches and they'll form a pentagram. I bet you. So he's going through all the different churches. Okay, let's skim this. So what's the conclusion? Did we miss it? So they were built in a straight line. But that's not proof. It just means they're built, following a road. Yeah, I thought he was going to do some graphic overlays or something and take a snapshot like I do and draw lines between, but it looks like he's not going to do it. So it's not proof at all. Oh, how many views did he get on that one? Let's just go and check. I have to wait till it loads again. Not too many, 11,000. So it's probably not much interest. How many subs has he got? 1,000. So that's pretty good, though, I suppose. 11,000 subbed. So, after looking at all that information, what do you guys think about SkinWalker Ranch and Ley Lines? You don't think aliens had contact with us? Pyramids were built? Problem is, we don't know how long ago the pyramids was really built. Is it 10,000 years ago, or was it 100,000 years ago? Do you believe in aliens, though? Is the question. Have you had any interaction with aliens yourself? No, I'm not talking about illegal aliens. I'm talking about the ones from outer space. So, yeah, I'm not too sure much more we can do on Ley Lines. It does seem like it's imaginary, and it's whatever you want to make out, I guess. So that's why I did that anecdotal globe map in the last live stream and said what's on the opposite side of the globe to where SkinWalker Ranch was, and it come out to just under Africa, the Sea of Africa. So yeah, I couldn't see any real connection why there could be energy or vortex there. So yeah. That's pretty much all the topics I was going to cover tonight, actually. 2 hours we've been getting already. So we could probably do some other stuff now, unless I've forgotten something. What other stuff can you talk about SkinWalker Ranch? Anything that we've sort of missed there? I was looking at blood types of aliens as well, alien abductees, and there were 3 websites. Excuse me. Is that coming up? Yep. And there were several sites that seemed to have similar information in different charts. So the most common one here, which I covered at the end of another live stream once, was O blood type, which is 37%, and A plus is the next one. So that's the population, and abduction. O negative is 36%. So where's O negative on the chart here? There's a little brown, that one there. So the abductions, 36% is O negative, and O negative is the least, almost the least blood type, the most rare blood type on the whole planet. So that's what's that saying? Population of USA. So that's quite significant. That means most of the abductions is from that rare blood group, followed by O plus, which is very similar to O negative, I guess. So added that together, that's over 63%. And yet it's the least one around. Where's O plus? Mind you, the plus one's quite big. Plus 127. But that O negative one is interesting, I think. Oh, hang on, it's this one up here. Not the least. Let's see, 1, 2, 7%. It's still pretty low, 7%, and yet they're the most abducted ones. So are they after O negative type blood? What do you think on that one? See, if it was random, right, stats wise, when they did the abductees, I think they did something like 50,000 abduction cases and made it up from this. I'm not sure if it says somewhere here. It says on one of the links anyway. All these ones should be all the same size for abduction. So they should, how many types are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 divided into 100%, they should all be equal if it was totally random. So obviously it's not totally random. The most ones that are being affected are the O negative, followed by O plus. So that's very significant. So there's some sort of connection happening there. So what do you think on that, guys? Are you still out there? There's 4 watching anyway. Is it the first time you've heard about that? I talked about the stars, how many stars are in the world at the end of the last stream, and it's like crazy numbers, like 100 billion. Oh, what was it? 100? Yeah, I think it was 100 billion stars just in our own galaxy, and there's 100 billion galaxies or something, or 100,000 billion galaxies in the universe. So yeah. So what was the conclusion here? Let's have a read of this one. I'll paste the link down so you can have a look. Research like this is important. In this case, however, the attempt, honourable as it may have been, was methodologically flawed to the point that the validity is questionable. The findings could be significant, but we have to confirm by research not. So what was flawed about it? Maybe how they collected information. I don't know. So where's the flaws? A fourth problem is related to this. When dealing with blood types, there are RH factors, ethnic and geographic important factors. Blood types are not distributed equally geographically or ethically, I think, or racial. They're trying to read that. So maybe that's why it's not correct then. Locations have very specific ratios. Distributions in Brazil, percentage of people that have blood group O is far higher than in the US. So the normal percentage, I see what they're saying. So certain, but if that was just based on USA, blood group is far higher than in USA. But if it's high in USA, right, and it's random, then surely that's still significant. So I'm not sure if we can dismiss that. Did I paste the link? Not sure if I did or not. I'll paste it again anyway. So there was actually 3 pages on this one. Alien blood, abduction and aliens. Where was the links again? I need to clean up my bookmarks already. I bookmarked it in case it crashed. Because it's a bit hard finding the stuff when you do a live. So I looked at that one. And this one here. Let's have a look. So this one's showing maps of the world on this one. So this one's showing the blood type distribution here. And it's saying, like that article just talked about Brazil, South America being the most O type blood, and Mexico, and up here Alaska, is it? I suppose this will like sort of like Chinese looking people up there, aren't they, in Alaska? But they're sort of very small people designed to live up in the cold where you need less calories. So blood types worldwide. So it's pretty small, so you can't read it. Here's another chart. So here we go. Marden Stoner Commondies reports. Abduction researchers Kathleen Marden and Denise Stoner, among others, have been aware of quite some time of repeating patterns and characteristics related to people experiencing ET contact. Marden writes in the induction of their commonalities reports. It goes on a bit. The UFO abduction experience questionnaire listed 45 multiple choice questions pertaining to experiences, demographics, abduction memories, emotional responses. So that's what I talked about in my special episode I did about the truth about alien abductions. They did this questionnaire and they mapped it stats wise, and they could work out whether someone actually had a real experience because only people that had the real experience would know certain questions, and the ones that sort of imagined they were abducted would get those questions wrong. And of course, the questionnaire is not public domain either, so it's not out there. According to Kathleen Marvin, blah blah blah, when questioned about their blood type, of the 29 abductee experiences who responded to the question, 59% stated their blood type is A. I don't even know what mine is. Well, 34% stated their blood type is type O. Because 60% of the respondents reside in Eastern time zone, we researched the distribution of blood types throughout the USA. It is estimated that 20 to 25% of USA population residing in the Northeast and East Central have type A blood, and 70 to 80% are type O. Does this indicate that there is an elevated percentage of A blood types among abduction experiences? We compared our statistics to the NAE, non-abductee experiencer group, and found that 50% are type A and 33 type O. This indicates that the majority of participants in both groups are type A, regardless of whether or not they have experienced alien abduction, according to Marden and Stone. So the blood type is a no-goer policy. The RH factor could be significant. Kevin Marden, blah blah blah. Knowing that 85% of all humans have RH plus blood types, we found an elevated percentage of RH negative factor, 35% among abduction experiences. The Stanford School of Medicine Blood Center reports that 6.3% of their collected blood types are A negative and 6.6% are O negative. This is elevated percentage among abduction experiences could be significant among non-abductee experience group. 83% had a positive RH factor and 17 were negative, indicating that both groups had elevated RH negative blood types. It is interesting that significantly higher percentage, 18% of AE group reported negative RH factor than blah blah blah. However, many participants did not know their blood type, so the sample size is too small to be considered statistically reliable. So that's the problem. So it looks to me like the blood thing is a no-go after all that then. So I'll post that one down the side too if you want to have a read of it all. Did Ancient Aliens talk about blood type on any episode? I can't remember. But obviously this is the, let's see, what's it? alienjigsaw.com. So they're talking about some questions here they asked. ICAR believes this is the largest study of its kind that has been undertaken. Particularly for again questionnaires that have been counted more than once. The sample size was much smaller, but they had contact information on each individual and could request follow-up information. So how many did they do? So it says down here, how many people had eye colors other than 3 choices given in the questionnaire, including albinism? That means no skin pigment, or eye pigment, which affects or affects if thickness. I can't say it. I need a drink here. Ethnicties. It's quite a tricky word to say. With prevalence estimated to be 1 in 17,000 people. So it goes on a bit. So we're seeing some of it already. So what's this down here? Reptilian traits. Going, if you believe Wikipedia, and this time it might be okay since it's not a page regarding what the skeptic debunkers refer to as conspiratorial. Since the Basque language is unrelated to Indo-European, it has long been thought to represent the people or culture that occupied Europe before the spread of Indo-European language. Comprehensive analysis of Basque genetic patterns has shown that Basque genetic uniqueness predates the arrival of agriculture in the Iberian Peninsula about 7,000 years ago. So what's this talking about though? Basque people. Okay, there's reference. Note: do RH negative display reptilian traits, self-reported traits, ICAR found in people with RH negative blood types. What's that got to do with reptiles though? Where's the bit on reptiles? We have no doubt that commonalities exist with people who experience ET contact, but we wonder if it's due to contact with a wider array of extraterrestrial beings than reptilian appearing beings alone. Or perhaps we'll find one day that all of the ET's people are reporting to have contact with will have the same reptilian ancestor. Maybe they're all hybrids of ancient reptilian beings due to the number of inhabitable planets astrophysicists have located and theorized exist. Sounds a bit sci-fi to me. Well, apart from, Hillary Clinton. You've seen some of the videos online of her doing strange eye movements and tripping over and all sorts of crazy stuff. We've got some new ones on here. Dogs bollocks. So, yeah. We do not know if people exhibiting or describing these traits indicates they are ancestors or related to reptilian beings, but the list is below. You decide, do any of these traits fit you? Reptilian traits, so here we go. An extra vertebrate or tailbone. Some are born with an extra tail called a khanda in Sanskrit, right? Called a khanda. Oh, that's full stop. In Sanskrit, Kinchu translates to southern lunar node, and also known as khanda. No, not khanda. Corda Draculus in Latin, or a dragon's tail in English. Lower than normal blood temperature, lower than normal blood pressure. Mine's always high, so I can't be reptilian. higher mental analytical abilities. Well, I'm not very good on maths anymore. Higher negative ion shielding from positive charged virus bacteria around the body. Not too sure on that one. High sensitivity to EM and ELF fields. Hypervision and other senses. A strong sense of mission or purpose. So they're the 8 traits, I guess. So how many of you all got those 8 traits? It sounds like another question to ask, I suppose, and find out. So self-reported traits found people with Rh negative blood types. So this might be interesting. 48% of subjects stated they have green hazel eyes. 70% of subjects with green hazel eyes marked their blood type as a O negative. 36% of participants stated that they have blue eyes, and 23% of the group marked their blood as O negative. I think mine are green. Reddish hair and brown. Well, that sort of sounds Celtic, doesn't it? The reddish hair. Which is Irish, I guess. Irish, Scottish. Low pulse rate, low blood pressure, keen sight or hearing, ESP, extra rib, UFO connections, a love of space and science, a sense of not belonging to human race, piercing eyes, paranormal occurrences, psychic dreams. So I've had 12 and 13. Love sci-fi, yep. But I don't have extra rib fuzz, I know. Have a desire for higher wisdom. Yeah, I think we probably all do. Skeptical to empathic illness. Have a deep compassion for the fate of mankind. Have a sense of a mission in life. Have psychic abilities. Have found unexplained scars on their body. Have the ability to disrupt electrical appliances. Well, that one would be a bummer, because it would stuff up watches and your laptop. Experience alien contacts. So yeah. So there's a lot on that page. So that was one. I think there was another link. Don't know if there's anything else on it that we haven't already read. Let's see. Contactee blood types. Let's see if it's the same as the other. I think it's got different charts. Oh, yeah, that was the one I was talking about before. So that talked about reptilian there too. So it looks to me like that's a copy of the previous page we looked at. Or it's cut out bits of it and put the maps up. So that one's not much use, but it's probably maybe easier to read because it's on black background maybe on the screen. Guess it's a bit clearer. Anyway. Going up to 2 hours and 40 minutes talking about this stuff. So is any other topics you guys want to talk about? I was thinking maybe my voice is going. That I might wrap up. What's the time now? 1:30. I suppose we can have a quick look around UFO Stalker, see what's out there. So it's taking us to England for some reason. So what's in America? So looks like this is fixed because now we've got 74. What's last week? What's last week? September. I think the last time I looked at it was the end of August, wasn't it? So looks like we've got one alien abduction I've got here. Why is it not popping up though? So what's it say? Contact form. Human form. Well, if it's human form, how can it be an alien encounter? San Antonio, Texas, June 30th. So it's an old one, you see. It's only just been reported. So it's going to have no current information, is it? Walked up to me in a crowd at SeaWorld. This one's... How many of these ones have we looked at turned out to be like hoaxes that someone's put up? Sounds like a fake one. Okay. So what else we got? Yeah, it's gone back. That's annoying. Canada, that's got a few there, isn't it? A few black triangles. Oregon, is it? Washington, Oregon. Where they gone? All disappeared again. So that was the bug that we come across last time. Move the map around, suddenly they appear and then disappear. There we go. Black triangle. Oh, no, it's going to go. What's it say? I noticed Earl did say to me in a private message that they had a wave of triangle sightings come in last week, so that sort of makes sense. Flew due north. So let's have a look. What's it say? I was in my backyard with my wife. I happened to look up and saw a craft moving silent in a due north direction. It flew perfectly level and its course never wavered. A large, bright, circular white light pulsed in the bottom center of the craft, but there was no sound. We live on the edge of... Hey, look, here we go. Salt Lake City. Landing pattern for the Salt Lake City airports. No aircraft were visible at the moment. The craft continued in a northerly direction. We lost sight of it. Note on a former military air traffic controller. I have never seen this type of air vehicle before. Amazing. I guess I didn't get a photograph. No. So, have to see if Earl will come on and start talking about these triangle cases, because they would have gone and investigated it a bit more than what we're getting here. So I wonder if we go back and lose our place again. No, yes. Why is it doing that? It didn't used to do that. What's that doing? Oh, I have to keep doing it the hard way. There's one down here. Where's that one that was there before? Disappeared to though. Oh no, it's come back up again. Is that the one? Yep, that was the last one. There was one up here that disappeared too. Crazy map. So I wonder if that's the same one they saw here, because it's going in the same direction by the looks of it. Is it on the same date? 8th of the 9th. What was that one? No, it's not the same day, unfortunately. So that would have been a good verification, wouldn't it? So what's this one say? No memory just found on photo. Okay, let's have a look. Looks like it's a video. And we always have trouble playing that on live, don't we? Especially if it's of an iPhone, because my Windows player doesn't always like them. Going through my old photos and videos to make space on my phone, I come across a short video. It starts with a group of lights that appear to be one object, then lights start to descend. And another group of lights appear at the bottom. I'm not sure how close to the ground. That kind of sounds like night skydivers, doesn't it? Lights start to descend. Another group of lights appear at the bottom. So that means the other skydivers would have turned their flares on or lights. Not sure how close to the ground. So that one could be debunked, right? But it looks like it's not going to load. So the video didn't work by the looks of it. Normally it comes up with a download link. Yeah. I'll refresh it just in case. Yeah, looks like it's a dead link. So we're not going to see anything to be able to analyze. So let's go back. Yeah, we're going back here again. Go back to Canada. Looks like a hotbed up near Canada and Top Edge anyway. And United States. Sort of changes days. We lose some, gain some. What's that one there? No photo. No photo. Photo. My partner and woke to our dog. So let's have a look at that one. That's meant to be the summary. It's quite long. And video links. So what's going on here? They're not loading. I posted a link to that one to the side there. See if anyone else is having trouble loading. I think this guy keeps changing his sites to make it better, and doesn't seem to be working very well tonight. Oh, that's another disappointment. So what they're saying? Woke our dog barking upward at the sky, out the bay window. Then we noticed what looked like a star with pulsating Xmas lights. SE of our surface is seen to be a solid object with our eyes with pulsating red, white, bluish green lights. After a few minutes we started to video the sighting. Object seemed to hover and slowly change position. When zooming in upon the video, the object looks more orb-like than what we witnessed. Also during the event we saw 3 to 4 helicopters, planes go near the object. Well, that's interesting. Apparently changed direction. We both were mesmerized by the object and lost sight when checking our video. So anyone check the link there and see if it loads? Just want to know if it's my setup gone wrong or the website gone wrong. I'm using one of the latest chromes here anyway. I suppose we've got to find another one with a photo and stuff, see what happens. We'll go back. There's a black triangle up here. Where's that? Newfoundland. Where's it disappeared to? I saw you. Quebec. There it is. It's got a photograph. There was a barrage of lights. So let's have a look at that one. Ah, it's a video. Something's gone wrong on my setup because I saw it come up with the player. Might have to check that out. Well, maybe. Had to be clear cache on this just in case. There's a little pull down you get. Oh, right, it's come up. Nope. It's fine. This one's finally come up. And it's got a broken link. So that's normally what happens. So that looks like there's a load of broken links for some reason. I know MUFON were changing things, and this is linking to MUFON database. So maybe this guy hasn't noticed that there's a problem. So it looks like we're not going to be able to see anything from UFO Stalker, at least. What we could do is I'll go back to that one. What was the number of it? We could try access it directly on MUFON. Well, the case number is 94779. I'll just copy that. So we know that's got a broken link. So let's just double check. I don't know if I got MUFON bookmarked. It makes sense to have that one bookmarked, wouldn't it? Can't see it on the list. So we search for it then. From DB maybe. No. Database. Oh, what missed it. Database. Search. There it is. Should bookmark that sucker. But of course, if you are a member, you can actually get access to a lot more information than we can as a non-paying member. I think you can see it's got member login. I think it gives you more options. Oh, look, database is down. So that could be it. So they really stuffed up things. So that's going to ruin things for a while, isn't it? Better bookmark that. Have to ask Earl why the database is down. Well, it looks like we might have to wrap up now until, because that's one of the things where we get all the current reports from to analyze. I don't know if they've got a backup of the backup database. So, but if you want the search link, I'll paste it down here. MUFON search. Looks like we might have to leave it for another time. Sounds like there's some interesting reports there that need to have a look at. MUFON. I can't see what I'm typing. MUFON search. Oh well, guys, I think I'll leave it there for tonight. Sort of covered a bit tonight. Bit disappointing there on the databases. So I'm just going to wrap up with the end credit music and give Google probably an hour to process the video. And if you haven't hit like on the video yet, do so. It helps out. Get some free advertising to the video. And I'll see you again next time, hopefully. And if you got any stuff that you want to talk about, let me know in the comments or email me, and I'll arrange to use the Hangouts instead of the new system I'm using here, where it doesn't use Hangouts. It allows me only to talk, no other people to join me. Then we could bring you on Hangouts to talk about your experiences and your locations, tell your stories. There was one person tonight in the comments. I'm not sure if he's still around, but yeah, just arrange it with me in the comments or whatever, and we'll do it next live. Robert will be back with us again. His people have gone from his house, so he can talk on his laptop with all the without the noise in the background. So yep, do like and share, and I'll see you again next time if you're about. There could even be a live tomorrow. Who knows? Depends what people get in contact with. If they want to come and tell their story. I know I did ask a couple of Skinwalker Indians a couple of Indians from the area to come on and talk about their stories. But whether they will or not is another thing. So, yep, good night, everybody, and thanks for chatting on the side and watching.